Welcome back to Pure Evil MMA. I have a special guest for everybody here today. Welcome him back for, I think, like the second or third time at this point. We got Colby B. Belal Muhammad joining us, fresh off a win from just about 2 weeks ago. Are you still down in Australia, or are you back in the States now?
No, I stayed down in Australia for the week after. I just got back to the States now. I'm trying to get back used to this timing again, man. I've freaking now falling asleep until like 5 a.m.
Yeah, man, it was quite the card too. I mean, you're on a 3-fight win streak now, putting things together. And before we even talk about your fight, one thing I really want to bring up is UFC 217, because that was like one of the biggest upsets of the year. And I saw on your Twitter that you picked everybody that lost that night. So, what's your thoughts on UFC 217 now that everything's said and done with?
Man, that was a crazy night, man. It just shows you how crazy the sport is, and just one little mistake could change the whole game up, man. Change your night. Everybody I picked lost, man. I had so many people on Twitter calling me, dude, I'll never listen to you again. You suck. I'm like, God dang.
So yeah, moving on from that, man. Before we talk about your fight, another thing I wanted to talk about with you is I saw all over Twitter that you were practicing Mighty Mouse's flying armbar. I was waiting for you to pop it out versus Tim Means or something. I mean, was that something that you were just working on in the gym just as, fun?
No, yeah, I was working on it actually, man. If I'm ever in that position, and I'll throw it up there, man. I'll just try it, But you saw my spinning kick where it missed terribly against Tim Means, but I just want to go out there and just have fun. That's what we do, like at Rubisport, man. Just going out there and just trying new stuff out.
One thing I definitely want to bring up is your kicks. Ever since you went over to Rufus's, I've noticed that your kicks have definitely come into play, because back in the day, man, you used to rely a lot on your takedowns, and this day and age in the UFC, you need to have more than one thing. I mean, your boxing is up to par, but now your kicks look phenomenal, adding that into your game plan.
Yeah, man, that was the biggest thing, man. Once I moved down there to Roof just having like a striking coach and a team where you're going with everybody over there is a great striker, and then like everybody over there is teaching you new stuff, so like you can learn from the youngest guy to the oldest guy, just because everybody's trying to help each other out, man. And everybody over, a lot of guys over there have like taekwondo backgrounds, so it's just really cool over there, going over there and just working with those guys every day, and then seeing how they work, and then it just helps you out.
Going into this fight, I could definitely tell you were trying to push the pace a little more in the first round than normal. Was that something that you thought you needed to put into the game plan here? Because Tim kind of starts a little slow.
Yeah, that was one of the big things. And a big thing with me is I kind of start a little slow usually with my fights, and I usually pick it up, start toward the end. And I'm just trying to switch that up where I start right away, because I could go 3 rounds harder than most guys. So if I could go in there right away, turning it up right away, my opponent's not going to have anything left by the 3rd round. But, man, he kept a good pace, too. I thought he was going to gas out hard, but he kept going.
Yeah, he was picking it up. And a good thing of what you bring up here was in your Alan Joban fight. In the 3rd round, you really picked things up. And I thought Alan was finished a couple times in that 3rd round.
Yeah.
And you made some great adjustments. We saw it in your TKO finish over Montano. And moving forward, I mean, you beat some pretty heavy competition here. So now you're calling out the big dogs, and Colby Covington, I see. What made you call him out on the mic?
Man, just the type of guy he is, and I don't like guys that sit there and talk trash, and it doesn't even like do it good. Like, he's trying too hard to be a McGregor. All these guys can't be McGregor. He's more like a McLovin instead of McGregor. I don't know what he keeps trying that for. And he's like, trash talk is so garbage, man. It's not even good at all. And then he goes just disrespecting the whole country. And then I know a lot of Brazilian people, man, so that just took me off to a whole nother level. And then seeing him in Australia, like at the hotel, when he's walking out of the elevator, like he's literally like peeking through the elevator, making sure there's no Brazilians or anybody downstairs. And I swear to God, he's literally peeking through the elevators, making sure there's no Brazilians down there before he walks out. And I'm like, I mean, if you're gonna be hard, you're gonna talk trash and everything like that, embrace it. Go out there, you're a tough guy, right? So why are you sitting there being all scared of stuff?
I love how everyone's following suit too. I mean, we obviously heard about the whole Verdum thing, and then I saw a picture of you with a boomerang as well. I just love how the whole MMA community is like on board with this. And I saw earlier that you posted a picture of Colby wearing some Bully B shirts outside the courtroom.
Yeah, dude, that's another crazy thing, man. How you gonna sit there and be a tough guy, then sit there and press charges? I mean, you didn't get hurt. You didn't get, you get a scratch? You're gonna sit there, fly all the way back to Australia for your court date when you have to go testify against Verdum. I'm like, dude, that's just soft. I don't know what this kid's on. he's not a fighter or a tough guy as he says. I don't know what he talks a big game, but he's really not.
So what are we throwing this whole Mickey Gall thing out the window? I mean, are you still interested in a Mickey Gall fight? I know
No,
that
no,
he's
man,
not really
dude,
interested in it, but
after watching that last fight, I was like, dude, I feel bad that I was calling him out, man. He just looked terrible. He just I feel like he's still a beginner, still like on at first, I thought he was good. I thought he had a little more to him, but his stand up is just like so bad against Randy Brown. I was like, dude, I feel bad for calling him out. I feel like I was a bully, so I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna call him out no more. I'm worried about the top guys right now, trying to get toward that title shot.
and for anyone that doesn't know, you actually beat who you're talking about right now, so it was kind of like a comparison level, I guess. I mean, Rupert's no walk in the park.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be good, man. But I feel like he's still on his beginner levels. He still has to get past those first 5 fights that a lot of guys do outside of the UFC to get to that level where once they get into UFC, they've already had ups and downs. They've already fought tough guys and had their wars. He hasn't gone through none of that yet. So I feel like
you take somebody like Sage Northcutt or Mickey Gall, these kids coming up from either the Contender Series or Dana White's looking for a fight. But you, on the other hand, you climbed your way all the way up. I think you're undefeated as an amateur. You were Titan FC champ over there with Shorty Torres. Which speaking of, did you catch his fight the other night?
Man, yeah, I caught his fight the day before. It was like the day of my weigh-ins, and I was sitting there eating after the weigh-ins, and dude, this fight hyped me up, man. He looked freaking great. That was a great fight, and it just got me popped up where I was like, all right, I'm not wrestling. I'm just gonna bang. That was a good fight. I was like, got me wanting to strike.
I saw that in your fight. Your coaches are screaming at you to try more takedowns or whatever. Use your wrestling a little more, and you just wanted to stand there and bang, and you got the decision.
Yeah, it was one of those where I always watched Tim Means coming up when I was on the outside, and I was like, man, this striking is great. He's a great striker. He's like one of the scariest strikers in the UFC, and especially with his elbows and everything like that. And I was like, all right, when they told me about Tim Means, I was like, all right, I'll fight him. I'll just try to wrestle him, whatever. Then after that first round, when I was like, dude, I can strike with this guy. I can strike with anybody in the UFC. And I was like, I'm gonna prove I can strike with all these guys. And then just being able to do the whole fight, stand up, striking with them, not getting hurt. You have all these people on the outside talking trash, like, oh, he's gonna get knocked out. He's gonna get knocked out. And I was like, I struck with him the whole fight, and ain't nothing happened to me.
So do you think it's going to be like the same kind of scenario for Shorty to come into the UFC like it was for you, where somebody got injured in the UFC and they called you up? Is it going to take something like that? Because Shorty's done everything he can do. He even said it in his post-fight speech. He's like, what else can I do here at Titan? He's ready for UFC, right?
That's the thing, man. Like he's a 2-division champ, whatever. But I feel like UFC's only taking like guys on like that. You're gonna have to come through that short notice fight or that like 2-week notice fight or something like that. I feel like they're really not signing guys that are. You get a full camp, we're gonna sign you up with a full camp, unless you do like the Contender Series or something like that. But yeah, I think he's gonna have to go through that short notice fight. I mean, he always stays in shape anyway, so I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. But yeah, like there's a million Shorty Torres all around the world. I feel like. Just like there was a million of me, where there was a million guys that are 9-0, and I was like, dude, how am I 9-0 still not getting signed? 8-0 still not getting signed. I was just waiting for it. But I feel like his was a finish. That was an exciting fight, and the fact that it was on Titan FC and it was on a big show, I feel like he should have got signed right after that. But who knows? I mean, maybe they're just waiting for something.
You've had quite the ride there at UFC. I mean, you just developing as a fighter, and some of the interesting stories that we've seen from you is like during Ramadan, you getting ready for these fights. To the regular person, that just seems impossible. And you've done it twice already in the UFC. What's the trick here? I mean, that's got to be difficult, man.
It's difficult, man, but it's good to have a good team around you, man, where the guys are pushing you, and then some of the guys fasted with me during Ramadan, just to have that team mentality, that family mentality. It just helps you push with you. And then one of my little brother I train with too, his name's Oscar. He's another kid at Titan. He's a 6-0 pro, and he fasted with me during it, and he had a fight camp during it too. So it was good to have somebody that I live with doing the same exact thing as me. And just like the same, where the coaches are not pushing you as hard. If they see you, all right, you're looking tired today, so we're just gonna go lighter, just a mitch or something like that. Just having somebody watch you and pay attention to what you're doing and how they feel how much energy you need to push today. So it was just good having that type of team mentality with me.
Well, we have people of all ages ages that listen to the show, Belal. So can you just explain a little bit like what Ramadan is and kind of tell them why it was so difficult for you?
Ramadan is one time a year where all Muslims in the world, they fast 30 days. You're fasting from sunrise to sunset. Then after sunset, you're eating a lot. Well, for me, I was dieting, so it was more eating like salads and just cleaner foods. And then back to you stop eating probably at 2 a.m. That's the last time you could eat. And then back to 7 p.m. again.
Well, I saw that you were enjoying your time down in Australia, and you're like, I ate so much salad this weekend. You actually got to splurge a little bit in Oreo. So why don't you share like what your experience was like after the fight? What'd you do down in Australia? Why'd you stay so long down there?
Man, it was really cool down there, man. We went down to the Blue Mountains, hiked the Blue Mountains over there. Really nice sight. And then we even climbed the Sydney Bridge. It was a big thing, and I was scared of heights, so it was one of those where as I was climbing up there, because we climbed there at night too, so it was really nice to see the whole skyline and everything. So that was the coolest thing we did. And then we went down there, saw some kangaroos at the zoo, started feeding them. Yeah, but every day we were maxing out, man. It was bad eating time for us, but Australia was super fun. It's one of those places where I always wanted to go. And then when they called me for it, I was like, all right, I'm down. And then when I sat there and saw the flight it was a 30-hour flight. I had to go 17 hours to Hong Kong. Stayed in Hong Kong for 7 hours doing nothing at the airport.
Oh, yeah,
Then
I saw
Hong
that.
Kong.
Layover.
Dude, yeah, it's terrible. I was like, oh, my God. And it's another 9 hours from Hong Kong to Australia. I was like, oh, my. And it was like the worst flight ever because it was like full. So you couldn't have that whole seat to yourself or row to yourself. And I was like, God dang, this is bad. I'm never taking a long flight like this again.
So you've been on so many exciting cards. This recent one, obviously. You've fought in New York twice already. Well, what's been your favorite experience so far in the UFC?
Probably the best places I fought, man. I just like Vegas, man. Vegas is one of the best places I've fought, and especially with the UFC Institute. That last card I was on in July, man. Just having that there, man, that made a big difference for me, man. Just having a facility there to train, because I went there a week early, so it felt really good to get some training in over there.
I know Francis Ngannou's been there like every day, just like going nuts over there. What is it like there? I know they got like a whole bunch of like to help you repair your body. They have everything there, right? It used to be the old
yeah, man. They have everything you need there, man. They have a lady there that massages you if you need it. They have a physical therapist there. They have a cold tub, hot tub. They have any tools you need to work out, cut weight. They have a huge cage in there, a UFC size cage. They have mats. They have everything you want, man. So, I mean, like if that gym was over here, I'll be there literally the same thing as Francis Ngannou every single day. That gym is like the best gym I've ever been to.
So now that the fight's over and everything, I know that you're calling out Colby, but we have some fans. I was asking a couple of the listeners here who they would like to see you get matched up against, and it seems like the fan favorite is the Stun Gun. Has the Stun Gun crossed your mind? I mean, that's a top 15 ranked fighter. I think he's ranked 13th now. I mean, your division is stacked, man. That's a tough top 15 there.
Yeah, dude, that's another fight I gave my manager a list of names that after every one of my fights, I give him a list of names for I want next. And yeah, he was definitely on there, man. He hasn't fought in a minute, and then even though he's coming off a loss, he's still a big name there and a big name in China. So it's one of those where another big win off of him will get me up there.
Well, any word from Colby yet? I mean, I know you're kind of like poking his buttons yet, but I haven't really seen anything. Have you?
No, he's sitting there still trying to poke at Woodley.
Yeah.
But Woodley's hurt. I'm like, so what are you just gonna sit out and not do nothing? It makes no sense. If you think you're the best in the world, just fight a guy that wants to fight you. You're acting tough, calling Woodley scared, but I mean you're not fighting. I mean I understand that you sat there. I feel like he picked all of his fights right. See, he sat there his last two fights. They're big names, but neither one of them are strikers, and they know that. All right, they're just gonna come in and try to grapple me, and he just wants to out grapple them. But he never fought a guy that was just like, literally good everywhere. Where I can strike with a striker, I can grapple with a grappler. That's why I want to sit there and fight a wrestler next, just so I can show what I'm capable of. Every guy I fought in the UFC so far has been a striker, so I want to go against the grappler next, just to show that how good I am at grappling too. But for him, I feel like besides his last two guys, none of his guys were really up there in name. And then his last two guys were really just grapplers, nothing else. And he even got outstruck by Maya in his last fight. Striking looked terrible. But he's sitting there talking about, I'm going to knock out Woodley. He hasn't knocked out anybody. So I'm sitting there like, your striking looked terrible your last fight. Woodley's not going to – when Woodley hits you, you go to sleep. You're letting Maya hit you at will. So I was feeling like for him in general, he just needs I would want another fight anyway for him if I was him, just to get better at my striking, get more comfortable at my striking, because he did not look comfortable at all.
That's what made me a little nervous too, Belal. I was, you know, he was getting a little pieced up by Damian Maia, so I was. Maia was getting there at number 3. So moving forward, we're going to see what unravels. And like I said, your division is stacked. And as we get towards the end of this interview here, I got to ask you about Mike Perry, man. I mean, he's about to fight Ponzinibbio. How do you see that fight going? This is a fan favorite here. It seems like in the upcoming fights. People looking forward to it.
Honestly, you got a lot of guys saying that he's going to get whooped, whatever like that. I mean, but if you look at Ponzinibbio's fights, he's really not that. They're both basically the same type of fighter. I feel like they're going to both go in there and bang. So when you both go in there and bang, Ponzinibbio's not going to go there with a crazy game plan or a smart game plan like Joban did to Perry, where he stuck and moved, and then pieced him up from the outside. Ponzinibbio's going to go in there and strike with him and bang with him. So, I mean, when you're going there and bang with a banger, you can get caught. So anybody can get caught in that fight. I feel like that fight's up in the air for me.
Yeah, it really is for me too. I don't know how that's going to play out, but definitely a lot of people in that division there, man, that are just monsters. So, you know, we got a couple of fan questions here for you. I'm going to pick one fan question to read off. All right, so I got one more thing before we let you go here, Belal. I mean, we got a lot of people that came in with questions here. I'm going to pick one question to read off to you, and this one comes from Brock Lesnar's Teddy. And he asked, your stand-up has always been a big part of your game, but your boxing was particularly crisp in your last fight. Is this an area that you've been paying close attention to?
It's just one of those where working with Duke Rufus and Scott Cushman at Rubensport, man, we're working mitts every night. So it's one of those where I never had that before. Never had a person like that hold mitts for you, where a guy who's a kickboxing champion and a great boxing coach in Cush, man, just having those type of guys holding for you every night, showing you what you're doing wrong, it just changes me so much. So I feel like I'm getting this good. I've only moved on there probably for like a year, so I think I'm just gonna keep getting better every time I'm over there.
I mean, dude, you've been in the UFC and for not long. I mean, almost 2 years now, and you have like 6 fights already stacked up. So you know, you're moving quick, you're looking good here. And before we let you go, we have one last thing. Of course, if you have any sponsors or anything, now's the time to, you know, your thanks or anything. The floor is all yours now, Belal.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on the show again. Shout out to my sponsors, Combat Corner, Go Polar Cryotherapy, and English Soul out there, man. I appreciate everybody who supports me, man, and everybody who continues to support me.
Thank you so much, Belal. I appreciate it. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the octagon soon. Best of skill.
All right. Thanks, bro.